Let's talk about Ware because he's getting the consistent minutes. Tonight he was 4 of 5 from the floor, 8.7 rebounds. I'm trying to put off the other guy until much later in the program. I think you realize that. But he's getting the minutes now. We've seen him mixing with different groups. He played again with Jovic coming off the bench. It does seem like Spo wants to emphasize that. But are you comfortable with some of the improvements? Because he looked like his screening was a little bit better tonight. The rebounding was a little bit better tonight. Like some of the little things we've talked about, there seems to be a little bit of growth.
Yeah, I think this is what happens over time, right? Like this is what we see with a rookie and the stuff that we've been talking about with him that he needs to clean up. Like we mentioned on the last show, are little things, right? Like it's just turning bad habits into better ones. And I'm not trying to drink all of the Heat's Kool-Aid when it comes to their prospects. I just think like those specific things that, he needed to get better at were kind of easily fixable to me. Whereas like other things like a guy with a broken shot might take a lot of time to fix, right? Something like that, for example. But that's not really the problem with Ware. It was just, him putting in the work, boxing out, and making sure not to overcommit on defense as a rim protector, right? Like I think those two things are just things that with the reps and with the proper coaching, which of course I'm sure they're pointing these things out in film, like those are things you can, I think, clean up pretty easily. And maybe I'm overestimating how easy it is to clean up because he is a rookie, right? And then like the speed to the game, all of that. Like I don't think he needs to make a mistake. You know what I mean? Like it's not intentional, so it might not be that easy to clean up. But still, like those things, you clean those things up, and all of a sudden he's much more productive. And maybe you don't have to worry as much about the defense. And they've been really leaning into the zone as we've been talking about the past few post game shows, and it worked on that end for them, right? Like they held the Jazz to a pretty bad, like just awful offensive rating. If you look at half court overall in transition, like both teams shot terribly from three. And outside of that, I think Ware just did his job. Ware did his job. He didn't make too many mistakes and just looks like a solid backup five out there for you already. Like with the mistakes coming down, he just looks like a much more I think much more solidified in that role as backup five. Like because there's a scenario. I'm not saying this could happen or it will happen, I should say, but scenario where he keeps making the mistakes and then they just play love again if they feel like he's if it's not benefiting them to play Ware. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's good to see him curbing some of those things early on. And I think that's why he's solidifying himself in that spot. I think they want to keep him there at this point.
So,
and he plays awesome with Nico, as we all know.